Are you ready for progress? Oh, taste and see. There's a word for you and me.
Serving the uncompromising truth makes us truly free.
Open your heart, your mind, your soul. He'll make you whole.
Preaching with power.
It's the relevant leadership strategist.
Now, is that one of the coldest intros you've heard, or what? I mean, I just absolutely love it. Are you ready for brown gravy? I hope you are. Now, let's try to explain that. I keep thinking of forgetting that there may be some people who don't know exactly why we call it brown gravy. Well, my last name is Brown, right? And the way that I interpret information and then disseminate that information, it's just kind of my flow and my flavor. And one of the things that I've been saying for a while is, if something is kind of bland on a natural food table, usually if you put brown gravy on it, well, it adds a flavor to it. It makes it palatable. You'll go ahead and eat it because the gravy gives the flavor that was lacking in the meal. And when I preach and teach, talk or have conversation, it's just kind of how I do it. I add flavor to every conversation, and I call it brown gravy. I am the relevant leadership strategist, and so where there are some people who may not do it quite like I do it, the relevance for me is germane whenever I begin speaking. I want to make it make sense. It's been the way I've functioned all my life, growing up as well as in college. The professor would be teaching. And I had to take what he was teaching or she was teaching and digest it in a way that I could get it. I grew up in the late 70s, all through the 80s, of course, and on up. So I am a hip hop baby. I mean, it is what it is. I grew up in R&B and hip hop when it was really exploding. And so that vibe and that flavor is just kind of how I move within things. And so I'll hear it in a different way than most people. And so I'll end up saying it that way. And many people can connect to it simply because, again, I try to make it as relevant as possible. I am the relevant leadership strategist. And so you'll hear it a little differently. Now, that doesn't mean that there won't be depth to it. It'll just have just be in a way that you can get it. I preach that way at the Sword of Truth. I teach that way in any session that we're teaching. And a lot of the people who are linked to me, they have a little bit of gravy of their own, and so then I always attract the gravy people. They got their own little flow, and I absolutely love it. So we have been doing now for almost 4 weeks. I want to say, I believe it's almost 4 weeks. We've been at this for almost a month. Wow. So for about 4 weeks, we have been meeting with millennials. I think is 3 weeks in, but for my college kids and my high school kids, the high school kids of tomorrow, we've been meeting now up for 4 weeks, a whole month of just discussion with these bright, brilliant young people. They're bright and they're brilliant and they're bright. And so we're continuing conversations on topics that's concerning them, which is major because unfortunately, they may not always get a chance to speak and to talk and to deal with things that are linked to their heart and to their mind. So I wanted to create a platform that they can. So we have a platform for our millennials. That's on Monday evenings at 9. We have a platform for our college kids. That's today at 12 noon. And then we have a platform for our high school children. Now, those high schoolers are just gregarious. They just go for it. I love them. They're on Wednesdays at noon. A whole month of just having an opportunity to speak. I had no clue that when we started this, that it would be going on this long, and that it would end up walking right into the ills of our world, that egregious lynching that many of us watched with Brother George Floyd. Pastor Yvonne Commodore, thank you so very much. She says she's listened and she's loved it. Johnny, man, I got to get you on. I got to get you on this. I can't remember what area you're in. I don't know if you're millennial or, well, I know you're not college, so I may have to bring you in with the millennials on next Monday. Inbox me, man, and let me know if you'll be available to be one of our special guests. All right, so today we have our college kids back. Some of them are running late. I believe a few of them went to go vote. Rock the vote. This young lady has already voted. She is one of our mainstays on the college COVID and Christianity. Miss Kiana is one of our activists. Kiana, how are you, girl?
Hello.
Uh-oh. She's hey, okay, we got
It's kind of lagging.
We didn't have Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to fix that.
What did you say, Bishop?
I was just speaking and giving you an opportunity to kind of introduce yourself and tell them a little bit about you. Maybe there may be a new viewer watching today that don't know you. Yep, it's lagging pretty good. All right. I think we're lagging there with her. So if she kicks back in, she'll kick back in. I'm sure she will. So we're going to be discussing a couple of hot topics today. And hopefully you all will stay linked and stay connected. Don't let the internet piece bother you. One of the things I definitely want to say is, and I'm sure we'll say it again throughout this platform, and that is today is primaries. Go vote. If you've not already voted, go vote. You can watch this while you're standing in the voters line. Put your earbuds in. That way you can comment while you're standing there listening in, but you need to go and vote. All right. Now, listen, when you go vote, make sure that you are voting not straight parties. Well, I can't tell you what to do. Let me tell you what I am. I don't go straight parties. That's just not what it is. I need to make sure that whoever we are voting for has enough of what is best for the people, what is best for the kingdom of God in hand. Now none of them are going to have all of it. It just is what it is. So if you're trying to find the perfect, you're not going to find the perfect one. It's just not going to work. But definitely be able to find someone who lines up as closely as they can with the kingdom of God and vote that way. And whatever's lacking, we continue to pray that God moves the heart of the king, the heart of the ones that's in the seat. Until then, vote as close as you can to those who are walking in the realm of the kingdom of God. Now, hear me now. That means you got to do some of your due diligence. You can't vote based on commercials because a commercial is there to sell you on the person. Now, understand that the commercial is there to sell you on the person. So if you're voting based upon a commercial, then you're voting with little to no information about that person. Little to no information about that person. That's what's happening if you vote simply off a commercial. You need to do some more due diligence. You need to vet them. I mean, Google them. Put their name in a Google search. Find out what they stand for and stood for. Find out if they stood for something that you don't agree with, whether or not they've changed their position as it relates to that. Give everybody a chance. If they changed, then great. Then maybe that's the one. But never vote just simply because the commercial looks good. Who cares? You can put anything you want to put in a commercial. You're just trying to sell. So I don't want to know the commercial. Let me find out what you stand for. What did you vote for when it was on the floor? What did you rally for? What's your platform? What are you rallying? What are you speaking up against? You need to know all of those kind of things. So that when you put them in office, one, you can hold them accountable to that, and two, knowing that you did your due diligence with whoever you're putting in place. All right, I think we got Alan Williams. Alan was killing last night, knocking home runs. He's part of our millennial group, And I appreciate him always being on. All right, so I think we got Kiana. All right, Kiana, are we back? Can you hear me now?
I'm sorry, my phone overheated. My phone been acting aggy for the past few days, but I'm back. I'm back.
All right, so introduce yourself to the people and tell them a little bit about who you are, and then we'll go forward.
A little bit about what was the last part?
About yourself.
Well, my name is Kiana Edie. I'm a senior at Claflin University, majoring in middle level education, concentrations in science and social studies. Um, as Bishop mentioned earlier, I am an activist, and I've really honed in on that over the past few months and really recently. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah, you're like soul sister. Your soul sister. I love it though. I mean, I
Yes,
absolutely
sir.
love
I get that a lot.
yeah, no, but I love it. I think it's phenomenal. It just fits you. It really does. You're not trying to force it. It just works. So yeah, Zion is speaking to you there, and Alan he's
Hey,
speaking to
Zion.
you. And so yeah,
Hey, Alex.
yeah. So we got you, our resident activist, and I think I see Shara and Kai and Shy ready. They might be ready for us. Okay, so let me pull them on and see if they are they ready. Hey now,
Hi.
you do.
Hey, I'm good. How are you guys?
We are working toward. Well, I'm working toward being at my best. I believe Kiana is as well. I believe she is as well. And so you guys have been traveling, huh?
Yeah, we like literally just got back. So Kansha kind of doing stuff right now. So I was like, let me hop on and just say hey and stuff. So
Mhm.
that, but
I
yeah.
appreciate it. Whenever they're ready, they can just jump on in.
Okay.
You're fine. Okay, so I got a few of you. Let's start with a little bit of Q&A, and I'll start from the angle of you asking me questions instead of me asking you, so that we can kind of deal with whatever's on your mind and on your heart right now.
Okay, well, I do have a question. It's something I've been like dealing with for a little minute. And basically what I wanted to ask is okay, it's like I understand that prayer is something, you know, that you go to talk to God, to seek direction, different things like that. But like, how do you actually know what's your next direction? How do you know what's next? If that makes sense.
Wow, very good question. Very good question. I want to answer it, and it's probably going to sound like I'm not necessarily answering it, but I really am. There is no one way. You know that. You know what I mean? There's no one size fit all as it relates to knowing when or hearing the next step or the next direction. Prayer is phenomenal in that you're absolutely right. It gives you an opportunity to talk to God. But prayer is not just a one-way conversation. It's also God talking back to you. And the way that you're able to get the next step or next direction is through a variety of ways. Sometimes, and I can tell you how he's done with me, sometimes it's simply a knowing. It's almost like I just kind of know that this is the next thing to do. There's a peace that comes over whenever I take that next step. I don't know how I know. It just kind of becomes intuitively right. So when I make the move through my intuition, there's just this peace that comes over my whole body. It's like, yeah, that was the right thing to do. Now he didn't say it. There was no big sign that started pointing that way, like in the cartoons. I mean, none of that happened. It was just an inward peace with that being the right step. Okay. Then there are times when literally I hear his voice and he says very audibly, "Do this." I mean, usually it's kind of so it's a still small voice, but even in his still smallness, it's demonstrative. And I don't know if that makes sense. I know that sounds kind of oxymoronish. It's a still small voice, but it's still demonstrative. So it kind of just shakes you a bit. And he'll say, "Do this, move there, step here, no, pull back." Those kind of things. Now he said longer sentences to me, but usually when I'm trying to get direction, he just kind of gives me it in those forms. So his voice becomes audible, and he literally just speaks to me directly. Then there are those times when I've prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. I don't have any feeling of peace in my intuition. I've not heard him say anything audibly at all. But then somebody will come and say, I was thinking about da 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 da, and I thought that it would be good to do such and such. And I'm sitting there thinking, I just prayed that. I mean, I literally well, not just, but I've been praying that, trying to figure out what to do next. And here this person goes, kind of talking out my prayer with instruction. And so God can download the information in the form of people just coming and having simple conversation with you. While you talk, simple conversation, and you getting the information through the simple conversation. Then there's those times when it's almost like signs. I mean, you've never paid attention to that sign going down the street, and all of a sudden you look up and like neon is flashing, and you start reading it, and everything you need was found right within that sign. So I think God kind of moves basically of course, in whatever way he wants to move, but I think he chooses to do it by way of a variety so that we can stand in a place of faith, just believing, you know what I mean? And not locking him to one way. Because if we lock him to one way, you start feeling like you got a hold on God. And if you feel like you got a hold on God, then there's no need to keep pursuing God. And the pursuit of God is what he wants more than anything else. He don't want you to feel like you got a hold on. We'll just go to the temple and get an answer. No, he said, I ain't in the temple. I'll go everywhere else. And you'll never hear me in the temple until I decide to come back and speak to you there. So it kind of keeps you chasing after him so that you can get the next place or the next spot. I don't know if I answered that or not, but yeah, it's kind of in all of those different. I mean, just and I've only given a limited amount. I believe there's so many other ways, but just off the top of my head, I'm thinking, those are just some kind of limited ways that it comes. A baby can come to you. It doesn't even have to be an adult. A baby can come to you and say, I'll never forget that my mom said that she was praying one time. I was maybe 3 years old. I don't remember this. She remembers it, but I was like 3, and she was praying and crying out to God and was asking him, do you hear me? Is it going to be okay? She said, and it was late at night. She said, I got out of my room, got out of my bed, come walking, 3 years old, which was kind of probably freaky to her, probably scared her. And late at night, I'm walking in to her bedroom. I tap her while she's on her knees, and of course it scares her because her eyes are closed. And here's this little chocolate baby in the dark tapping on the side. That's how she explains it. And she said, I looked at her like with a straight face, didn't smile, didn't do anything. And I said, God said to tell you it's okay. Go back to sleep. And she said, after I said that, I turned around, went back and went to sleep in my bed. And she tried to wake me up, and I wouldn't get up until the next day. And when she asked me, I didn't remember any of that. So God woke up a baby to go tell the baby, to tell the baby to go tell his baby, go to sleep, it's all right. So he spoke to her like that. So many different ways.
I got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I guess because Kiana actually put in the chat that she's actually trying to reconnect. There's something wrong with her Wi-Fi, but I do have another question, like field time.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm in this place where it's like really still, like it's really quiet. Like nothing's really happening, but it's like I feel like there's a preparation happening inside of me. And it's like I can't really explain what it is, but I feel like a change of God happening inside of me. And it's like you can't really verbalize it, but it's like with everything being still around you, it's like not really a bad unsettledness, but it's like something inside of you that's brewing. And it's like I feel that inside of me, and it's like I don't know. I'm just kind of going with the flow of it, and it's just like I see everything around me. Like it's like God is showing me He's hearing me through answered prayers for everybody else around me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, oh my God, you did hear me. Oh my God, you heard me for them. Oh my God, and it's like it brings me peace, and then it's still that unsettledness. Like it's like I feel like that building inside of me, and it's just like I'm waiting to see what it's for, type thing. But it's just like a little piece type. Yeah.
So, are you you thinking that that's like wrong?
No, I don't think it's wrong, but I guess that's me telling you so that you can kind of
Help you?
yeah.
Like, wait a minute now, something going on with me. Like, do I need to be checking back in with God? I mean,
Right.
yeah, I get you. You know, with the millennial and your generation, definitely more your generation than the millennials. And by the way, you guys that are joining, go ahead and share this. This is College, COVID, and Christianity. We got a group of college babies who I call them babies. They're not babies, but they're my babies. And they're going to be discussing topics that's related to them, that's on their heart. And we got another question on the floor from Shira, and she's asking about that still place. So here's my answer to that. The generation, the millennials, your generation, which is I think almost generation Y or Z. No, Z is after you. So yeah, you know, generation Y and generation Z, all those different generations. One of the things that I believe technology has done is ruined, or let's see, softened the ability for quiet. It's softened that. When God really wants to develop and grow, He puts us in very quiet places. But because of technology and social media, you know, those kind of things, I mean, everything's kind of immediate, unless you got internet issues, then is buffering, right? And but think about that. Now think about that. Even with the buffering piece, we're so frustrated because we're so used to things happening immediately. So if I hit a button, there it is. If I go for a search, there it is. I mean, everything just kind of pops up quick. So there's never really what you would call wait time. And so then impatience sets in. And then we end up starting to go just making it happen. Hey, Naya, we end up just going to make it happen without waiting for, you know, things to kind of move forward. God develops us in quiet places. I mean, He develops us in quiet places. And you know when it's major things He's developing you for, when it's so quiet that it's eerie. And you keep thinking, okay, well, should I be doing something now? Should I go? And I mean, should I be reading? I mean, it's like, what should I do? And and really and truly, I believe that we should be doing a conglomeration of all of that. That we should be reading. We should be, you know, praying a little bit more. We should be, you know, still exploring other opportunities, but embracing the silence. Whenever, and God knows, I feel like this is probably for you and maybe many other people. Whenever God wants to turn the caterpillar into a butterfly, He has to cocoon the caterpillar. Well, in a cocoon, there is no noise. The cocoon literally shelters the caterpillar from everything external. And on the inside of that cocoon, that caterpillar is literally dying so that the butterfly can be birthing. Well, that's silence. A death is a silence. I mean, it's silent, period, point blank. That you hear nothing. And so then it's in the silence that transformation takes place. It's in that quiet place that he begins growing and developing the wings of the butterfly. And so it's not wrong, is what I'm saying. You are experiencing what many people have experienced and will continue to experience as God grows them for different places and different levels and different things. So it's not strange. So in that place, you're going to probably cry more than anything else. You'll be just weepy and crying and like, oh God, you'll be doing that a lot, which is good because tears help water. It helps water where you're going. You'll also do a lot of worship during that time, which is good because worship filters you and strengthens you. You're probably doing a lot of praying during that time, which is good because prayer gives you strong foundations and helps you develop your patience. For ye have need of patience. That's what the scripture says. And all of those things are your preparatory moments for when he unpauses life. And when life unpauses, you're going to say, you know what? I thank God I had all that quiet time there for a moment because everything else is kind of moving so fast. I don't even have time to get quiet. So you have to soak up everything you can in quiet moments because when the noise starts happening, you got to have a solid enough foundation to stay focused in on what you soaked up during that moment. So you ain't odd, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Yeah. I don't like those times, Shara. I really don't. I don't like them. I don't like them. I don't like them. Let me go back on record. I don't like them. Did I say I don't like them yet? Yeah.
Yes.
I don't like it at all because I'm just, I'm kind of more social as it relates to God. I like to feel him like all the time.
Right.
So when those moments happen, I'm like, I don't like this. I mean, I don't like this at all. But I've learned to trust him in it because is the only time I can trust and love and be happy is very present and I feel him, or can I trust, love, and be happy when I feel like he's forsaken me? You see, and so if I can love him in both arenas, man, you have the totality of Christianity and can walk forward in the power of God.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, twins. I know y'all got names, but you talk. So y'all been traveling too, huh?
Yes.
Bless your hearts. Oh my soul. So we're kind of in the Q&A moment right now, and if you had any questions, you can ask me. I definitely got questions I'd like to ask you. So if you want to, you can start asking me first, and then we'll go from there. Shara has already asked a couple questions, which were very good, and I believe that they've helped somebody. They help her, so I'm sure they help someone else. So if you got a question, we'd love to answer it.
No, I'm fine. Oh, I see Sha.
What about Sha? Sha look like she tired. I didn't. She like she'd have got the road and beat her up real bad.
Right.
Traveling can be a bit. I feel you, girl. I feel you. So I wanna ask a question. It's something that we started talking about yesterday with the millennials, but I'd love to get the college perspective on it. And it is this whole idea about God not seeing color, or Christians should not see color. I don't know if you all were watching it then or whatever. I don't know if y'all on late last night. I didn't see any of your names pop up. I don't think you were. So that means that your comment's going to be straight fresh, which is what I love. Oh, by the way, I need to start seeing y'all pop up on Sunday morning too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. I ain't seen no
We
name
look,
pop up on my screen.
my mom be on it, so we be with her watching it.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, we be there. It's just our phone don't be there, but we there with our
okay.
mama.
All right. So having said that though, what's your take on whether or not color literally exists in Christianity?
Your question is, does color exist in Christianity?
Right.
Sheesh.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, you go.
So, I mean, like, if we're talking about the physical realm, like, sight wise, then yes. But if we're talking about, like, spiritual, no. Because at the end of the day, I believe that not everybody has the same, like, because everybody is different, but everybody has a spirit. So I feel like that at the end of the day, we all have to return back to God, like, when we die. So I believe, like, now what's going on, like, everybody's trying to look in the physical sense, but if you cut somebody, we're both going to bleed red. So I just feel like in Christian, like, wise, we shouldn't see color because we're all here for the same purpose, like, to win souls. And it shouldn't matter if you're black, white, purple, yellow, like, it really shouldn't matter. But sadly, that's not really how it is, but I really feel like it should be.
I feel like the problem comes from okay, I feel like is blood creates relationship. And if we're all saying that we're connected with the blood of Christ, then we're all connected. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I feel as though color shouldn't matter. And I kind of also feel like that's where the argument in Christianity comes from as well. But I have different views on Christianity and relationship, because if it's relationship, like if it's relationship, that reverts back to the blood, because blood creates relationship. But if it's Christianity, that's tradition. So it's just like, I don't know. I have like mixed views on it. Like, so do I believe color should exist with Christianity? I mean, no. But like I don't think so, but I don't know. I feel like religion, I don't know. It's a lot. It's like too many thoughts to like put together. But go ahead, Sean.
I don't think color should.
You might have to speak up.
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Uh-oh.
Oh, we hear you. I was just
Okay.
I don't think color should exist in Christianity because it's about like what you believe in your heart, and like everyone has a heart or supposed to. So I don't think it should exist in Christianity because at the end of the day, like Kyle said, we all have to go back to Christ and stuff. And yeah, I don't think it should.
okay. Kiana, the question on the floor is: should color exist in Christianity?
Okay. Should color in Christianity? Um, if the Bible, well, not if the Bible says, "Love your brother, love thy neighbor as," um, basically love thy neighbor, right? The color of my skin shouldn't convolute the way that I love you or my decision to love you. So if we're gonna talk about applying Christian principles into everyday life, we can't. Jesus knew no respect of person. He didn't care if he was a man, female, short, tall, skinny, thick, whatever. Like you were a person and a child of God in his eyes. So he looked past all of that. So color should not be a crowd in Christianity if we're really going to implement the true ideals and the principles. of Christianity. Feel like color comes into question. Well, it came into question based on how the slave masters used it in slavery. That kind of like brought about that. But like I said before, if we're really going to exercise the principles of the Bible, the principles of Christianity, there's no need for color. Respect my heritage. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying like respect, neglect the heritage or neglect your culture. But as far as like the color of my skin, that should not play a part.
Okay, so one of the things that I was thinking while you all were talking is the distinction between color and division. Okay, so when I said the word color, did you immediately think division?
I think what I thought when you said color, I probably thought, yeah, I can't say I thought immediately like division. Like I thought of an all white church and an all black church. Um, yeah, I thought of separation. Would you?
Me too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Kiana?
I thought about division in regard to like ethnicity, races,
Mm-hmm.
because that's kind of like the associated um connotation when color is brought up.
Yeah, and see, that's where I think we have to defrag ourselves, um, take some of that stuff off because of what's been taught as it relates to quote unquote color and the view of that. Because again, when we hear color, and more often than not, us than many other people, the first thing we think is division and better. So based upon the color, we are divided, and then there are perspectives of value. And so according to the color is attached value, and according to what color you are would mean whether or not you're more valuable or not. And then so that puts us in classes, classism, which means this one is better, that one is better. You get all those better pieces when that has never been the idea that God had as it relates to color. It's just been what we've been fed and taught forever and ever, not just in our world, our time, our dispensation, but even in biblical times, that, you know, it just kind of was one of those things that continued to perpetuate itself simply because the enemy never wanted us to come together and be of one voice, one sound, one accord with distinctions. You know, think about it. When we talk about harmonizing, right? And you guys are singers. I don't know if Kiana, you sing too, don't you? You know what I'm saying? No, I'll say. You might be lying to me. Don't be lying on this Christian platform. This here is the God platform, and you lying before God.
I'm sorry. I just don't want to be put on the spot in the future because you like to do that.
In a hot minute in Jesus' name. But all of you all are singers or musical. I know the Twins band, that kind of thing. Well, when we're talking about distinctions and colors, when the band plays, everybody on that band isn't a trombone. That's going to be something. When you're singing, everybody that's singing is not going to necessarily be soprano. So soprano, I mean, not that that's bad, but when we say one sound, I'm not saying everybody become soprano or everybody become trombone. We're saying take your distinction and let your distinction combine with my distinction in order to create one sound with a variety of textures. It just, you know, when we sing in unison, it's great. But when we all sing in harmony, it adds something to a sound. You know what I mean? Unison is good. I mean, you know, that's that unison sound, everybody's kind of whatever. But when we go into 3-part harmony, 4-part harmony, it's still unison, but unison with distinctions, and those distinctions bring a quality to the sound that's missing if we only had the unison, flow. And so distinctions are necessary in order for harmony to be valid. You know what I mean? That harmony will never exist unless there's distinctions, and those distinctions help harmony create this sound that's so unique and so soothing that it's incredible. And so somewhere along the line, we've been taught to let go our distinction to become something else. And so when God meant for us to have a certain flavor, we decided to water our flavor down. I believe the word that Kiana used was convolute. We decided to water down our distinction so that we can mesh into. And it's not about that. It's not about necessarily taking away you, making a blank canvas so that everybody can feel comfortable. And the reason why everybody doesn't feel comfortable is because racism, in its essence, is about distinctions, and then classism, and saying one is greater than the other when one is not greater than the other. Think about it. What instrument is better, the drum or the bass drum, the snare or the bass drum, or is the bass drum better than the flute? We don't need the flute, so the flute should sound like a bass drum, or should everybody be tenor? Let's just let everybody sing in a deep voice. Let's just go there. Yeah, how bland is that? But that's the idea that they're trying to feed us, that we should be bland and not unique to come together in harmony. Talk to that. Did I spark something in you with that thought?
Yeah, I feel like all I kept hearing while you were talking was our differences complement each other's differences. Mm-hmm. And y'all know that song by Jonathan Reynolds is like, "What I like you are full of." That one, I kind of was hearing that too, because it's like maybe your difference is what somebody else needs. Like, and it's just like, I don't know. I feel like, society tries to paint this Barbie doll picture of what a male should be, what a female should be, or like different things like that. But in actuality, there's beauty in our brokenness. There's beauty in our differences. So it's just like, with that being said, it's like, you compliment my broken and I compliment yours. You strengthen my broken and I strengthen yours. That's why I think it's important. Going on another tangent, I think it's important that you surround yourself with people who has strength in the areas you're weak, and like you don't really know what piece of you could contribute to their growth. But that's like my thoughts on it.
Honestly, like when you was talking about everything, like with the harmony, like that made me, like, even though you was talking about it in the musical realm, it made me go into like physical. Like you could honestly see it physically in the world today. Like look at all the shapes, colors, like Kiana said, of everybody. Like I believe God is honestly just like creative and strategic, because if God wanted everybody to be on the earth to look the same, then he would have did that. But he put everybody different, because I'm thinking like basically he wanted us to see, like Shara said, like how we all complement one another. And like some people, I guess they forget that again, like going back to the same thing, that we all bleed the same. But again, like why would we sit there and why would we try to be the same when we're all different and we can fuse together to create something better than what's going on now? So that's what I have to say. I don't have anything to say.
You said I want to speak to the point about kind of like assimilation, where you kind of said like kind of fit into, kind of have to like dilute who we are to fit in. If that was it just what you're saying, if I understood correctly?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If every seasoning for food is salty, then that's some bad food. I mean, that everything then that's bad. So I don't just put salt on my chicken when we're getting ready to cook it. We put some other. I can't give you my recipe, but we put some. We do a little something else in that thing, right? We mix it all together in order to cause that chicken to have a different kind of flavor that's appeasing to the palate. But if I just use salt, then I mean, yeah, we can eat it. But the beauty of what could happen if we all distinctly yet unisonly, if that's a word, come together on this chicken and make it taste better. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm not talking about taking away the black pepper.
Right.
No, I keep the black pepper because when I bite into the chicken, I want to taste black pepper, but I also want to taste salt. But I also want to taste, that other stuff that I use. I don't know what all y'all use, but I can't give you my stuff. So I want to taste all of that together, coming together in a harmonious way of decadence in its consumption.
Yeah. So I feel like if we the process of assimilation that Black America has been in since we've arrived here, it only appeals to quote unquote mainstream, quote unquote, well, not quote unquote for this one, but white supremacy ideals. And I don't want to keep stressing color, white and black, but that's just the reality of the situation. But I do believe that, like Shara said, everything, every culture, every race complements each other, right? And in order for us to move forward as a human race, we have to learn to appreciate and listen to, understand, and apply. Let other cultures, other people who do not look like you, contribute to society. But that doesn't mean like we only focus on one agenda as a whole. We focus on principles and ideologies that move everybody forward. But before we get to that, we first gotta, uncover and dismantle the whole neglecting all the other seasonings to fit only one palate, you know. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You don't want that. I mean, who wants that? And simulation into what they say mainstream uh, America is just their thought. We don't think like that. I mean, that's not it. So then I don't need to be less of what I am in order for you to be all of what you are.
Bishop, I think America in like holistically lacks the ability to appease to everyone. Don't get me wrong, I do understand that everyone can't be, you can't make everybody happy. But I do believe that you can make everybody comfortable. That's like you having a vegan at a table, having somebody who loves meat at a table. Then it's the chef's job, especially if they're paying, it's the chef's job to prepare a meal that vegan can eat, and also that person that loves meat can eat. And I don't know how much that makes sense, but it made sense in my brain. So hopefully it makes sense coming out. But like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, and when I say the chef, I mean like all of us. Like it's gonna take all of us to try to make our brother, make our sister feel comfortable, even if it's just around you. Like, I believe in being the change that you want to see. I believe in exhibiting the truth that you want to receive. So it's just like, I don't know. But that's just me. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
But in making them comfortable, it does not mean that you become less of you. You see,
Yeah, exactly.
that's that's the thought that I don't have to be less black in order for you to feel more white. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
can be all black, and you can be all white, and we both be comfortable with the fact that those distinctions exist for the betterment of all. Hey, Rosalind. So it's not making my candle doesn't have to go out for your candle to burn. You know what I mean? You can keep
Exactly.
your candle can be lit and listen, light it up, do the thing. But my candle not being lit has nothing to do with your candle being lit or
Exactly.
not. We
Hmm.
have both candles lit at the same time, and illumination is going to happen. If nothing else, it'll get brighter. In the
Exactly. It'll do more
Mhm.
light.
Yeah, it'll
Hmm.
get brighter. It won't dim anything. It'll brighten it up even further, which also says that with my distinction and my adding my light to the moment, when what you were trying to shine a light on was only in one perspective, when I add
Right.
to it, it adds light, a little more light to another darker place. Then someone else adds their light, it adds a little more light to a darker place. And so now when we have total illumination, we see everything. We see the whole picture and not just the picture based upon the perspective of the only candle that wants to be lit in the room.
Yep.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly
And
right.
also, I already forgot. I was gonna say something in regard to like respectability politics and not. I'm gonna just say it and hopefully it relates because I forgot where the thought came to my mind. So while we're joining other people, while we have allies, and while we're trying to get our message forward, I think you said not losing like yourself while trying to communicate the message. And I feel like a lot of people, not well, I would say a lot of people, but there are some people who engage in respectability politics who say, yes, Black lives matter, but all lives matter. Not saying that all lives don't matter. However, if Black lives mattered, we wouldn't have to scream. If all lives matter, we wouldn't have to say Black lives matter. So it's that rhetoric of trying to appeal to everybody to get our message across, and it's kind of like I have to dim my light just so you can
Right.
just so you can see where I'm coming from, or just to get your just for it to be comfortable for you.
Right.
But true change of heart, true change of mind doesn't come in comfortability.
Comfortability. Yep.
Like, right. So it's just like, and a lot of the rhetoric that I've heard from about respectability politics, I'm just, since we're being honest, it comes from a lot. I've heard from a lot of like religious leaders, a lot of people such as the NAACP,
Hmm.
that's for the national advancement of color people. But what have you done for us lately? I'm just saying. Um, but it's like it's you got to be careful not to lose the agenda, lose the purpose behind Black lives, but also welcome in other ideas as well. But we gotta not engage in that.
We have to be very, very careful about where certain ideologies come from and where certain thoughts are their origin. And so the respectability of politics is is layered with what they call love, but the underbelly of it is again saying that there should be no distinctions. When there are distinctions, those distinctions should be respected equally. Now, if we're talking respectability in that regard, okay, let's talk. But if you're talking respectability in the sense that we're layering this thing with love, and there are no distinctions except for the fact if your skin is of a lighter shade. No, 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 no. That I shouldn't have. Again, I just have to say it again. I should not have to be less black for you to be comfortable, and I should not have to acquiesce to the thought that that if in saying Black Lives Matter means that I'm saying your life doesn't matter. No. So again, that is another way of trying to quench my distinction and my ability to walk fully in my culture, in order to make you comfortable, because you have implicit biases that lend itself to everything black being wrong. And
Right.
because everything black is wrong, then we need to acquiesce to all things white. I said last night that and Pastor Wilson is noted at saying it more. Actually, I got it from him, but it's been taught everything black is wrong. Think about it. If you're the bad child in the family, you're the black child, right? You're the black sheep of the family. If you are if it's a bad guy in a TV show, the bad guy always wears black.
Yeah.
So then that means it's wrong. When God heals you, He cleanses your black soul. So then your soul is black. So that means that black is wrong. So everything black is wrong. But when it comes to white, then it's right. So you slip on black ice, but you dream of a white Christmas. You know what I mean? So then white is right, black is wrong. The hero wears white.
Mm-hmm.
Never seen a hero come in a black suit. The only hero I've seen in a black suit is Black Panther.
Yeah.
And they've been slightly disrespecting him because he's not one of the main characters standing on this picture that I'm seeing circulating around about the Avengers. They got Ant-Man there. Who in the devil? I mean, come on. Come on, man. Ant-Man, you just click the button and shrink and we're talking black, the Prince of Wakanda.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the King of Wakanda. Forever. Wakanda. And he doesn't get his picture on the main standing. He got to be included in all the other superheroes around.
Okay. Not even an honorable mention.
Yeah, I'm saying, come on now, there's something wrong with it. So that level of politics is laced upon this whole idea of keeping people oppressed with scripture and with the Bible. And that was not the Bible at all. I'm sorry, you said that. I'm like, wait.
Bishop, I actually oh, sorry, Keith. Go ahead.
I was just gonna make a comment about how important media is.
Yeah. Portrayal.
In the role that it plays, because the media can give you a whole different picture than what actually happened. They'll represent they'll shine light on or include more things that are more appeasing to mainstream than everybody, so I think people need to really understand the importance of media portrayal, and the influence that it has on society at whole, and how it shapes the thoughts, the feelings, the perception of things. And I totally agree with you with the whole Black Panther thing. He need to be up there.
Right. You're not wrong, because honestly, media, like, it subliminally puts a message in your head, like people, and how it's so slick, because you notice how it'll do it like little squirts, like little, and it's like you don't think that it means nothing, but it's subconsciously going in your ear gate, making you think like, oh, like black is wrong, like white is right, white is right. So that's why, like, I really get like where you're coming from, because that's really true.
Yeah, I think you are what you see, you are what you hear. That goes back to the conversation you had. Was that like 2 weeks ago on here? Yeah. Like you are what you see, you are what you hear. Like you become what you constantly see. We was listening to Dr. Miles Monroe on the way here, and he was just saying like, what you put into yourself, you ultimately become. Right. And it's just like, that's true. And I was like, my bishop be saying that too. So it's like, it was just like 2 and 2, because portrayal, like what? Okay, let's take CJ for example, Bishop. CJ seeing you, he's gonna grow up to be a strong black man like yourself, right? Now let's put that in a different sense. If CJ was saying something else, CJ would have, like, he wouldn't follow up to the standard of what you said for him, and like the road you paved for him. So that all goes to portrayal of what you see. So media plays a huge part in development and with our society being so young and being so influenced by like social media and different things like that, we tend to try to repeat what it is we see, and a lot of times it don't even be real. So
absolutely, we if you see it and you see it enough, it becomes subconsciously your reality. Along and along. Now that kind of lends itself back to our music conversation, but we'll save that for next week. Crap. we'll save that music conversation for next week with that thought in mind. But yeah, you literally become that. I mean, think about it. When people get killed on TV, it's always at night, and it's always under the. So it's like, it gets dark. That's when we die. So when black comes, you can start looking for the devil, for thief, for murder, all that kind of stuff. And it can never happen to the light. As a matter of fact, when they're telling you to make things known, they'll say, "Well, bring it to the light."
Right.
All of that stuff feeds them. And then there's a little bit of self-hate that comes.
Right.
We could dig into that. Maybe we need to start there next week with the self-hate, self-love kind of talk, and kind of how you all feel about self-hate, self-love. Y'all remind me of that, by the way, and where you stand with that, and how did you get there? How did you get there with self-love or self-hate, or have you ever experienced self-hate, and how did you move into self-love? We'll start there next week. Here's what we're going to do. We're 3 minutes over our hour, and I try to keep it to an hour. I want to do what we always do every time. Give you an opportunity to kind of minister to your generation. All of you all are college kids, and so there's some unrest in them. There's some unrest in you. So you can kind of minister to them about something we just spoke about, something we've talked about in previous shows, or something on your mind that we didn't talk about at all yet. You can go either way you'd like to go with that. Okay, so who wants to start?
I'll go first. Okay, so basically all I really want to say is, like, first of all, black is beautiful. Even white is beautiful too. Like, but in the world that we're in today, like, we're gonna emphasize black culture. So black is beautiful. And for the college kids that's actually want to go to a PWI, don't let, how can I say this? Don't let other cultures, social media, other cultures push you away from where you want to actually go. Because I wanted to go to a PWI, but I ended up going to a HBCU. Now, honestly, and another thing, don't even be nervous if you want to go to a HBCU too, but more predominantly, if you want to go to a PWI, then go. Like, don't let anybody influence you. You're too black or you're not up to the standard, because you're up to the standard to go wherever God allows you to go. And as long as you got God with you, then you can just do anything in the world.
I just want to say, don't let society paint your picture of who you are and who you represent and what you represent. Because again, you write your own story, and you can change the picture that society is trying to put out for colored people or any race. But yeah, just be true to yourself and change the culture that society is trying to paint out to be.
And I agree with what Kansha said. I don't really have anything else to say.
All right, awesome. I was trying to put in the comments, which is why I was taking so long. The legend for the different things you use, PWI and HBCU, and so I was like, I don't know if people know what that is. So I was trying to type it in there. So PWI, predominantly white institution, HBCU, historically black college / university. All right, good. I'm still in touch. All right, Kiana's on you.
My statement is for everyone, whether you are a part of the African American community, whether you are white, Asian, Hispanic, wherever you fit in, but more so to my brothers and sisters. We can't ask for change without first knowing the areas that we need changing and having ample knowledge in those areas. So my challenge is for everyone to research a topic that needs improvement in Black America. So whether it be poverty, voter repression, mass incarceration, um, residential redlining, quality of education, whatever the case may be, whatever topic interests you, gain knowledge about that and figure out ways. Once you gain the knowledge, figure out ways to improve it. Because we can't ask for help if we aren't participating in self-help and educating ourselves about that. So we got to be knowledgeable about the issues that affect us so we can properly communicate them and know what to demand. It's bigger than George Floyd. It's bigger than police brutality. It's a culmination of things that are plaguing the Black community. So yeah, just research a topic this week. That's my challenge to everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Also, next week, not only are we going to talk about self-hate and have you ever experienced it, and if so, how you got out of it. We're also going to talk about the young lady, Candace Owens. Not sure if you all have heard from this young lady or heard some of her commentary. We're gonna.
I'm ready for that. I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself, but I'm ready for that.
That's going to be the conversation next week. So if you all are watching this week, you better not miss next week, because I'm going to probably have to put some censorship on these young college kids, because they're probably coming. You see what I'm saying? They already cocked on ready. If I let it go right now, it's gonna be trouble. So we're gonna talk about her. And we're going to talk about that. And yeah, so if you are college bound, or a college kid, you need to join us next Tuesday at 12 noon and share the video. Share this one. I thought there was some great information that was passed on this particular broadcast. Last thing that I'll say to you as we get ready to go, and that is to make sure you vote. Today is the day. Go vote. Go out there and make your voice heard. Figure out where to go. The lines might be long, but don't let long lines frustrate you. If you stood in a long line to go to It's Fashions, then you can stand in a long line to vote. If you stand in a long line to get your hair done, or stand in a long line to go vote. It's just as important as them groceries you put in your house or those clothes you put on your body. It's just as important. Go vote today. And I believe that we can begin to effect change, at least on that level, moving forward into the next piece. All right. Also, later on tonight, I want you to join us. Join us on the Sword of Truth page. It's going down for real. We're going to have Pastor Hart Ramsey at 7:30. Now, I moved our Bible study to 7:30 just in case there are people who had to get off work to go vote and then be able to get back to home so they can get on live. So we're starting 7:30 tonight. Pastor Hart Ramsey, a night of impartation. It's going to be incredible. And tomorrow, Wednesday at 12 noon, my high schoolers are coming back. High school shelter in place and spirituality. They will be on tap, and we're going to handle a couple of issues that's concerning them. I've been enjoying these moments, and obviously we're coming back next week. We've been doing this for a month now, y'all. So next week we'll be going a month and a week. If y'all ain't tired of me, I'm not tired of you. Let's keep it going, right? All right. So I'll see you all and a few of the other ones on next week. Hopefully we'll see you guys too, watching us live. Until then, God bless and we're praying for you. Y'all stay on the live.